shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Tonight, the Brewers are in Anaheim to take on the Los Angeles Angels.
And a fly ball to center. This is unloaded. It is back and tie game.
Our coverage of the game begins tonight at 8:03 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
10 o'clock, we have sunny skies and 85 degrees, sunny, hot, and humid today. A high of 95, heat index maybe up to 98. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. That week-long heat event continues today across southeast Wisconsin with near-record high temperatures, possibly for many cities. Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Niznansky expects heat index values near 100 today, as we mentioned, due to those tropical dew points.
Dew points, again, in the 60s, so there is some humidity to the air, and I do think we do work our way back up to around a dew point of 70, which starts to get in that steamy territory. More of the same for tomorrow as far as humidity goes. Humidity backs off a little bit Wednesday and Thursday, but kind of lingers.
Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes. South Florida recovering from days of heavy rain and flooding last week. Now attention's turning to the Gulf of Mexico. ABC's Jim Ryan in Texas says the prediction from federal forecasters is for a very active hurricane season.
Disturbed weather off the Yucatan Peninsula shows a 60% chance of getting organized and moving northwest in the next few days. If it grows past a tropical depression, meaning sustained winds above 39 miles per hour, it'll become Tropical Storm Alberto.
Wildfire north of Los Angeles continues to rage today. The post fire in Gorman started Saturday afternoon. It's exploded to cover more than 14,600 acres. So far, it's forced 1,200 people to evacuate and destroyed at least 2 structures. Fire in what we're told is a vacant complex of buildings 20th and Mitchell on Milwaukee's south side broke out just before 3 this morning. No injuries reported in that fire. At least one building, we're told, has been a total loss. 2-year-old child struck and killed by a car at McGovern Park.
The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says it happened around 6:30 Sunday evening. A witness who was at the park when it happened tells TMJ4 News the driver initially tried to leave the scene.
I saw her trying to get in the car, but by the time she could have got in the car, they caught her, whooped her, hit her, all type of stuff. That means she couldn't really go nowhere.
The sheriff's office did say they will provide an update with more information, but have not confirmed if any arrests were made or offered any more details about the crash. Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore today issuing more than 175,000 pardons for marijuana convictions of about 100,000 people. He says the state owes it to those convicted for behavior that isn't illegal anymore.
Rolling out one of the best and most equitable legal markets in the country is incredibly important. But that rollout must go hand in hand with pardoning past conduct, and Maryland is going to lead by example.
Maryland legalized recreational cannabis in 2023. The finale of Top Chef Wisconsin finally here this week, and the champion could be a Wisconsinite. Chef Dan Jacobs has made it all the way to the last episode, and on Milwaukee's Matt Mueller tells Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News we might see him back on our TV screens again, even after Wednesday.
The season that's lacked some personality, I think he's been kind of the most flavorful person of the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if they ask and he says yes, if he were to come back for a Top Chef All-Stars season. Though if he wins this season, I don't think he would have to.
Final episode premieres Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Now a mixed picture on Wall Street. We do have some up arrows. The Nasdaq is up 12 points. The S&P 500 is up 5. The Dow Jones Industrial's down 21 points this hour. Inflation isn't going away. Download your copy of Safeguarding Against Inflation: Strategies for Wealth Preservation at annexwealth.com/inflation. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:04.
Whether you're an active or passively active home shopper, our agents want you to be completely up to date with what's out there and what's brand new to the market. With our instant emailed MLS updates, you'll never miss out on what could be the home of your dreams. All you have to do is call and tell us where to search, give us a price range, and soon you'll be totally in tune with your desired real estate market. Remember, MLS searches show you everything. Some of the other real estate sites don't. So call Benefit Realty today, where you'll pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com. 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission. You can't find a lower rate of commission, and you won't be able to find better knowledge, service, and real estate expertise than you'll find with our agents at Benefit Realty. Because I know that's what you expect. Now, I'm not sure you'll be able to find the highest caliber of agents everywhere, but I can promise that's what you'll get here. So choose Benefit Realty to exceed your expectations, and you'll pay less for more. This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers edge the Reds 5-4 to win their series from AmFam. Milwaukee remains first in the NL Central 42-29. The Brew Crew visit the Angels tonight. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. There was some debris on the ramp from Layton Avenue to I-43 South. That has been cleared. Shouldn't present any problems right now. There are some construction closures. I-94 eastbound Highway 16 to the Zoo interchange. Also I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown, so watch for a little slowing in those two areas.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Buy one dinner, get one free tonight at the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club, including steak and lobster. And desserts are buy one, get one free. Tables are open, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny, hot, and humid today. High 95, heat index up to 98. Clear overnight, muggy conditions, though, with a low of 73. Mostly sunny, hot, and humid tomorrow. Slight chance of thunderstorms, high 92. Pretty much the same for Wednesday, but a little bit cooler with a high of 82. Chance for thunderstorms on Thursday, partly cloudy with highs 80 to about 86 inland. And Friday, partly cloudy, hot, and humid. Slight chance of thunderstorms and a high Friday of 90 degrees. Madison's at 81, Green Bay 80, Milwaukee 84. I'm Connie Weber. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's time for the Upswing on WTMJ, showcasing businesses, entrepreneurs, and community leaders throughout the great state of Wisconsin. Here's your host, Jeff Sherman.
'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Good morning, Milwaukee. Good morning, Wisconsin. Mondays on the Upswing. All about momentum and moving Milwaukee forward. That's how we theme out Mondays. Albert Siebert. Albert Siebert. You know the name? The founder of Milwaukee Electric Tool Company. Now, of course, Milwaukee Tool. Siebert, I'll give you a little bit background of Albert Siebert here. He was born October 18th, 1879 in Dayton, Ohio, the son of a Lutheran pastor. After graduation from Wittenberg College, Mr. Siebert pursued a sales career with National Cash Register Company, NCR, in Dayton. Then after about 19 years, he left NCR to accept a position as a sales manager at A.H. Peterson Manufacturing Company, right here in beautiful Milwaukee, selling their new engineered, lightweight electrical hand drill. And you guessed it, you can probably tell where this story's going. After a fire, that company was forced into bankruptcy, unfortunately. Mr. Siebert bought the remaining assets and started Milwaukee Electric Tool Company in 1924. Fast forward, the Siebert Lutheran Foundation was created in 1976 after Siebert donated $35 million, which was his entire ownership of the company, into a trust. As stated in his last will, he said the funds were to be dedicated to spreading the gospel, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and alleviating human suffering. The foundation's mission really goes beyond what its core mission is each and every day, and it's granted $152 million to local and regional organizations. There's a new matching endowment campaign that was recently announced, and we're going to tell you how it all works and what it means with Derek Tyus, who's the first business leader to dive in and started the endowment fund. Plus, we're going to hear about the rise in needs of the area while learning about the foundation's recent grantees with Sarah Gidday, Director of Philanthropy. Giving, the business of good, moving Milwaukee forward. That's all today on The Upswing. But next, Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex Wealth Management, will join us to set the stage with some smart tips for charitable giving from families. This is The Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
Vince Vitrano here from Wisconsin's Morning News, reminding you to subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News podcast. We update it every day with every segment, every interview, and every bit we do on the show. Wait, we don't do bits on the show.
I am jazzed as hell.
You can do it .com, too. .com. I'm .comming right now.
It's about 110 degrees in this room. Nice job with the air conditioning, whoever.
All right, maybe we do some bits.
Bullseye!
Subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News podcast wherever you get your podcasts or listen live on WTMJ.com.
Well, I would say some of the biggest challenges to building American-made furniture is competing with low overseas wages. America has higher wages.
Ben and Arvid Huth from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
It's still a big benefit to make it in the United States because even though labor costs are higher, we all know the American worker is the most efficient, most productive worker in the world, especially employees in the Midwest. Midwest people are renowned for their work ethic. There's advantages to that outweigh extra labor cost. And there's also a lot of other advantages. Freight costs are way cheaper if it's made locally.
If you build furniture in China and you send it to the Midwest, it's 8,000 miles to get here. And in order to make that travel, you have to be well packaged, heavy cardboard, lots of foam, lots of bubble wrap. We don't do any of that.
Not very environmentally friendly.
No, not very environmentally friendly if you're concerned about that, but we just use a blanket, right? Our furniture travels from the wood shop to our warehouse and right to the customer. And everything's touched by our people. We have no third party touching any of that, so we can control that quality.
PennyMustard.com.
Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. Still loving retirement and still loving the energy-efficient windows and patio doors Hometown installed a few years ago. They keep my utility bills in line during hot summer months and add equity to my home all year long. Contact Hometown for a no-pressure in-home consultation or check out their home show-style New Berlin showroom featuring national brand names like Pella, Marvin, and Anderson. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. HometownWindows.com.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Welcome back to The Upswing, all about charitable giving, philanthropy, and more. Today on the Monday show, Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex Wealth Management, joins us to set the stage with some smart tips for charitable giving. He's on the Tri-County Contracting Hotline. Dave, happy Monday to you.
Yeah, happy Monday to you as well. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. So one reason we like to spotlight nonprofits on Mondays is because obviously so many people are seeking strategies to build whatever legacy they want to leave and to maximize the positive based upon their personal financial situations. And last week you had a workshop entitled The 8 Tips for Smarter Charitable Giving. I wanted to do a quick recap of that and kind of set the stage for today's show. But other than, of course, the difference that donations make in the lives of others and serving to uplift the community, what do we need to consider, Dave?
Yeah, sometimes it's not just about the financial aspect. Does it fit into your estate plan? Is it in the right direction of what you're trying to accomplish economically? But as you know, it's way more than that. It's just not about the head. Often it's about the heart issues as well. So you have to look at the charitable organizations that you're looking at and what are the missions and goals of those organizations, and do they align with your missions and goals? So I would really start with that, which is, to me, a more heart issue than a head issue. Are you aligned for missions and goals? And once you give them the money, are they making progress, and is there an impact in what they're doing? So I really start with two aspects. What are the economic issues, the head issues, and what are the heart issues, which are missions and goals?
Okay. So how do people know that they're contributing to a qualified charitable organization? What's that kind of first touch point?
Yeah, well, first of all, they should obviously lead with that. And you can go and look at their websites, but the IRS has something on their webpage that talks about if they have a 501c3, for example. And so you can go to their site, make sure you have the charitable organization's EIN or employer identification number, and pluck that in, and it'll come back and make sure that they are a qualified organization. If the IRS gave them this letter of determination, then you'll know that your money's going to the right organization, and it's worth the work to do that.
Okay. And what's accountability and responsibility look like post donation, both on the donor side and the organization side?
Yeah, right. So the organization has to file what's called a 990. It doesn't matter what organization it is, and if you are bored out of your mind, you can go and start polling people's 990s and see what they're doing with the money, where the money is going, what are the expense ratios that they're using. Some organizations raise a lot of money, but then take a lot of money for running the organization. So take a look at their 990, and that's part of, what are they doing? What's the stewardship and accountability? But there is also some accountability to those who give them the money. And so stay informed. Make sure this organization is headed in the right direction for you personally, and stay informed, ask questions. Do you want a relationship with this organization, Jeff, is really important. And is it just a one-time donation, or do you want to build a long-lasting relationship? And some people do that.
Okay. You talked about a lot of different strategies last week. What's a qualified charitable distribution, donor-advised funds, and charitable trusts? Can you give us a little bit of background on each one of those three?
Yeah. In the estate planning and in financial planning, there's a lot of acronyms. So you just talked about the QCD. What the heck is that? That is when your money is in your IRA and you get to a point where you have to take some money out, a required minimum distribution. So everybody playing along at home, that's the RMD for the QCD, right? So all of these crazy letters, right? So you have to take money out when you get to a certain age. So you have to take required minimum distribution. There is a really great planning idea. So when you get to that point, and perhaps you don't need that required minimum distribution because you've done some other planning, you have other assets, you have a pension, so on and so forth, you can take that RMD, that required minimum distribution, and send it directly to your charity, be it your school, your church, whatever the organization is that you are aligned with, and send it right to them. And therefore, you don't have to take that RMD, that distribution, as income. So it's for you, it's good as the person who's making that donation, because it doesn't increase your income, and it goes directly to the charity. So we do that as one of our planning concept, and it's called a QCD. And then you heard the other term that you talked about was donor advised funds, and it's like a charity for an organization that runs it, but it runs it for you. You don't have to file your own foundation. You don't have to do the legal work. You don't have to do the tax filings every year. And there's a lot of DAFs, or donor advised funds, that exist today. All the major custodians, the ones that we use, Schwab and Fidelity, for example, they have them set up and ready to go. So if you are going through that process, you can certainly do that. But again, you have to work, Jeff, with a qualified advisor who does these things, who understands that, and make sure that it fits into your plan.
Okay. What's one of the biggest mistakes that families make with their charitable giving? Is it not planning effectively, or is there stuff along the process that is just, whoa, we didn't do this right, or we didn't think of that?
Right. And it is. I think you have to do, I can tell you personally, we have a foundation, so we get a lot of requests. And so sometimes it's difficult to just sprinkle small amounts in all of these organizations. And, there could be a situation where you want to be very myopic about where you're going to give your money. is it aligned with what you're trying to do? Is it for childcare or education or healthcare? What are these things that you believe in? And so make sure that you're aligned and that you're just not sprinkling just because somebody calls you up or writes you a letter. And that does happen a lot. That's number one. Number two is, of course, make sure that it's, you don't wait until December 30th to make that donation, because it's a surprise to the organization and it may be difficult to do the planning properly as well. So, think about it. Make sure that it's in the right spot, that you're doing the planning throughout the year. It could be lump sum, it could be periodic, whatever it is, but you can think about these ideas. And lastly is make sure that it is in your heart issue. There's people who give to organizations that shelter dogs or children or cancer, whatever it is. Make sure that you sit down and it fits in your personal estate plan. This is not planning by the pound. Make sure that you've gone through this process, that it aligns with you, that it fits into your estate plan, and those are really the biggest things that I'd be aware of.
All right, very good. Dave Spano, President and CEO of NX Wealth Management. Thanks for joining us, Dave. Smarter charitable giving for families and more. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Good. Thanks for having me.
All right. When we come back from the break, we'll continue our Monday momentum with the Siebert Lutheran Foundation, getting into their needs, their strategies. And first, we'll talk to Derek Tyus, the new Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Versity, a national leader in innovative blood health solutions. Derek is also a Siebert Lutheran Foundation board member. We will talk about his endowment fund and much, much more. This is the Monday Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
Back for the first time in 2 years for his Sun Goes Down 2024 tour, it's Kenny Chesney.
Everything gets hotter when the sun goes down, yeah.
Returning to AmFam Field Saturday, June 22nd.
Summertime is finally here. That old ballpark man is back in gear.
Listen all day to WTMJ for your chance to win tickets. It's Kenny Chesney at AmFam Field, Saturday, June 22nd.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Champagne's not as cheap as ginger ale, and you can't buy caviar for the same price as candy. But right now, you can buy the highest-end Beautyrest Black and Tempur-Pedic mattresses for nowhere near their highest-end prices. Hassellus Mattress is clearing out a handful of premium floor models. These mattresses are the best, and you can get them for way less. Like the Split King Tempur-Pedic Luxe Breeze in soft or firm was $10,198, now just $25,448. Or the Queen Beautyrest Black L-Class Firm was $26.99, but the floor model is just $13.49. Plus, save with massive markdowns on adjustable bases, starting at $287. It's like buying a Rolls Royce for $10,000 just because it sat on the showroom floor. Selection is limited. Only a few floor models are available at each Hassellus location, and when they're gone for good. Find a self-service, employee-free showroom near you at hassellus.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. We've made it to that wonderful time in Wisconsin when everyone likes to be outside. The gardening, the golfing, the swimming, but not you, because your knee hurts or your hips are bothering you and you don't want to do anything that could mean needing surgery. Hey, I get it. But here's the thing. You don't need surgery to feel better. That's where QC Kinetics comes in. Non-surgical joint pain relief is a thing. It's here. It's happening at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, lasting joint relief with no surgery, no drugs, and get this, no downtime. Stop putting it off. Take action now and live your best life again. Get outside this summer. Call QC Kinetics. Here's the number, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today and live your best life again.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're headed across town or across the country, we get you tires and batteries, trust and care during our summer tire sale. Right now, buy 3 tires, get 1 free with installation, plus up to $100 consumer rebate on select sets of 4 Goodyear and Cooper tires. Rewards members get an extra $25 instant savings and 200-count boxes of blue shop towels, just $10.99. Tires and batteries, trust and care at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Welcome back to the Monday Upswing, charitable giving, and more with the good people at the Siebert Lutheran Foundation. Just a quick follow-up on what Dave Spano was talking about. And Sarah Gidley, the director of philanthropy at Siebert. Sarah, you had a really good point that people shouldn't wait to plan out their charitable giving until they're 70 or 80. Like, it's really kind of a lifelong learning process. And I'm sure that's what you found in your role.
It's true. Thanks, Jeff. I'm sitting here with a very youthful Derek Tyus, who I would say is in the prime of living his life. And maybe one wouldn't think that you would be making those long-term philanthropic decisions, when you're in your 40s or your 50s. But life can happen. I experienced that myself, being widowed very early. And if you think I have all the time in the world to make those philanthropic plans and live out my passions by making a philanthropic donation, I'd say you might want to think earlier rather than later.
Yeah, okay. And that's probably a good lesson for anything in life, whether it's business or giving or family. Be in the now and be in the present and take advantage of what is in front of us. So Derek, you are kind of fresh still into your position at Diversity, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Appreciate that.
And obviously an active member in the community, serving on boards of several nonprofits, including Siebert, the Children's Wisconsin Foundation, and more. But just give us your career path and kind of the Derek Tyus story in about 30 seconds, if you can do that.
Sure, Jeff. I'm a local kid, born and raised. Attended Marquette University, as you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Our friendship goes back many years, and have been in the Milwaukee area essentially all of my career, with the exception of the time that I spent out of the state to attend business school. Okay. So I've been fortunate to work with private organizations my entire career, starting in public accounting with Arthur Anderson. After that, I spent a year at S.C. Johnson in a financial role, 18 and a half years at Northwestern Mutual Life, and then 8 years after that to working with West Bend Insurance. And as you said, now I've landed at Versity.
Okay. So what's kind of walk us through just briefly the business impact and community needs as you see it at Versity right now?
Well, the biggest need that we have at Versity, as you mentioned, we're blood health innovators. As right now, during the summer season, as school's out and families are beginning vacations, is that blood collection is what we do, and given all the activities and the wonderful outdoor time that people spend here in the Midwest, and particularly in Milwaukee, they don't often think of blood donations, and this is a challenging time for us. Our collections tend to dip significantly, and right now our biggest challenge is just reminding individuals that the life-saving donations that they give don't stop just because it's summertime. So for your listeners who are out there, if they can remember to stop by the local blood centers and give a donation, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like anything I find with blood donation, I have to schedule it. Because if I don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. I think that's paramount. Put it on your schedule and make sure it's something you do regularly.
We're more than happy to help you with that.
All right.
If you visit our website, you can sign up, and once you become a donor, we will remind you to regularly contribute.
Okay.
Because, as I said, the life-saving impact continues year-round.
Yes. So why did you start the endowment fund at Siebert? Kind of walk us through that. And you told us a little bit about your personal story, but first-generation college graduate, and what's your commitment there in terms of education and starting the endowment fund?
Jeff, I was fortunate to have two very wonderful parents who emphasize faith, who emphasize education, and always making sure to share the gifts that God had given to me in service with and for others. And being a board member at Siebert, when the concept of Siebert Serves was developed, I could think of no better way to not only my parents, but also to give and know that I'm doing something that's aligned with my faith, my values, my belief, and what was instilled in me. And I know that the legacy of the endowment will have the impact that I desire, something that Dave Spano mentioned during his talk about about making sure that your gift is aligned with your values, your heart, and the impact that you want to have.
So now taking it to the next level, it's the responsibility to get more area business leaders to create endowment funds as well, correct?
Well, I don't know if it's the responsibility, but I hope that...
The privilege.
I hope that the example and the privilege, you're right, is to encourage those who have been blessed or who have been fortunate to share some of their gifts, some of their wealth, to uplift the entire Milwaukee community. Okay. Because philanthropy, as I'm sure Sarah will tell you, philanthropy is so important, and Milwaukee is a community that has benefited in so many wonderful ways by the generosity of many individuals.
Yeah. When we come back from the break, current funding priorities for the foundation. WTMJ News Time is 10:30. ABC News is next.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says they're setting up cooling centers and making sure schools are cool before children arrive. Preparations underway as New York moves into its first stretch of really hot weather so far this summer.
With climate change leading to more frequent and intense heat, summers are different than they were before, and so we should expect and be prepared for the hot weather that is coming.
Hot weather in the west, along with high winds fueling wildfires in California. That's the sound of firefighters trying to attack the flames in Sonoma County. There's another big blaze burning north of Los Angeles. The Education Department is out with its first of its assessments related to campus protests this past spring, determining that the University of Michigan and City University of New York did not adequately investigate if the protests created a hostile environment for students, faculty, and staff. Other assessments about other schools are expected soon. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 10:31, 2 shootings within 20 minutes in Milwaukee. The first a little after midnight near 29th and Wisconsin on Milwaukee's west side. A 48-year-old taken to the hospital is expected to survive. Second happened just before 12:30 a.m. on Appleton near Timmerman Airport. The 36-year-old victim in that shooting also went to the hospital, is expected to be okay. No arrests yet. The Wauwatosa School District today will consider a proposed $60 million referendum aimed at bringing their elementary schools into compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Referendum is part of a $108 million total proposal, which includes plans to close both Whitman and Longfellow middle schools. Under the proposal, the 6th graders would be moved to elementary schools. 7th and 8th graders would relocate to the district's 2 high schools. Former UW lacrosse chancellor Joe Gao finds out this week whether he keeps his faculty status. Gao was removed as chancellor in December after the UW Board of Regents discovered that he and his wife created sex tapes and posted the content on porn websites. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is now up 37 points, 38,626. The Nasdaq is up 33 at 17,722, and the S&P 500 is up 11 points at 5,442. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite, financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Some construction-related closures slowing down I-94 eastbound Highway 16 to the Zoo interchange. Normally about an 11-minute drive. It's going to take you a little bit longer. Also some slowing I-894 westbound, the Mitchell interchange to the Hale interchange. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny, hot, and humid today. High 95, heat index maybe 98. Clear and muggy overnight with a low 73. Tomorrow, sunny, hot, and humid. Slight chance of thunderstorms. High 92. A chance of storms again on Wednesday. Warm and humid with a high of 82. Chance of storms on Thursday with highs 80 lakeside, 86 inland. And again Friday, chance for thunderstorms. Partly cloudy, hot, and humid. High Friday 90. Madison 81. Green Bay 80. Milwaukee 84 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 10:33.
Each day there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely, and you feel better when you can, but you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back, but it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe
results may vary.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
When life spells heartburn, how do you spell relief? ROLAIDS.
What about when life spells fried chicken?
ROLAIDS.
Fourth cup of coffee?
Still ROLAIDS.
Extra cheesy pizza?
Rolaids always spells relief. Rolaids' powerful dual-active formula begins neutralizing acid on contact to fight your heartburn fast. So, when life spells heartburn, Rolaids spells relief. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome back to the Upswing with the launch of individual endowment campaigns. From leaders like Derek Tyus, who joins us today, we're diving into moving Milwaukee forward with the Siebert Lutheran Foundation today. Siebert's Director of Philanthropy, Sarah Gilday, joins us as well. Sarah, what are some of the current funding priorities of the organization, and what are the specific areas of focus?
Sure. Thanks, Jeff. Well, our funding is in 3 categories. We break that down into growing, educating, and serving. Growing the body of Christ, funding's primarily for churches, educating, which can be anywhere from pre-K all the way up through post-secondary education at Lutheran educational institutions, and then serving, which would be wide-ranging from prison ministry to food insecurity to housing to drug and alcohol rehabilitation. So.
And is there a specific neighborhood focus or a regional focus that you seek giving in?
Well, for the growing category, we fund statewide, but for educating and serving, that's just primarily to the Milwaukee area, maybe the 4-county metro Milwaukee area, sometimes in Kenosha and Racine. We are based on 27th and Wells, though, and we weren't always in this location, but it is exactly where we want to be right now in the near West Side neighborhood. We want to be close to our grantee partners, and we want to be a resource to them in the neighborhood through collaboration as well as letting them use our space whenever they need.
Yeah. Okay, great. And when did you make that move?
That was probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a lot happening just west of Marquette University for sure. A lot of new development and a lot of need as well. So
another priority is something that we're pretty excited about is we are exploring ways to bring people back into a church community. And some may have gotten busy and kind of not prioritized being able to make it to church. But if you've kind of read the statistics, it's 2 decades ago, an average of 42% of U.S. adults attended religious services. A decade ago, the figure fell to 38%, and it's currently just 30%. And we are seeing that need greatly from the churches that we support. And so we are exploring ways to bring people back into a church community by not necessarily entering through the church walls, but having a sense of community and gathering outside of those church walls.
I mean, community building of any type helps raise neighborhood development and kind of gives everyone more opportunity. So that's a good thing for sure. So in terms of the growth of the foundation and the matching endowment campaign, explain that to us a little bit more in terms of how the matching funds work and what it all means.
Well, you kicked us off beautifully with the story of Mr. Albert Siebert, which I have gotten so many times. People are just so inspired by his story, right? So you kind of told the story so well, but it was really, he wanted to save the jobs of his workers at that time. And he prayed to say, please let me just turn this company around and save those jobs. And if you do, I'm committed that I'll pledge a portion of the company profits. And he gave it all. And I think that's really the best story of him taking that initial 35 million, and now we have granted more than 152 million. We have quadrupled that initial investment of his. And I think that story speaks volume and has kind of been a testimony to maybe why Derek got involved, and 4 others have already committed to a named endowment before we even went public with it a couple weeks ago. And I think it's His story is so inspiring, and that's why we started the match opportunity, is to see if we could inspire others to do what he did, which has had just such an enormous impact these past 70 years.
And Derek, some people may not like endowments because they'd rather give throughout the course of their lifetime. I mean, how do you have those discussions with people you're trying to bring on board?
Well, quite honestly, I think piggybacking on what Sarah said about the growth of the impact. Remember, this foundation started with less than 40 million of assets. We currently are stewards and responsible for over 100 million of assets, and those assets are used to continually meet the impact in the areas and provide support in alignment with our Lutheran values. I would say that people who are reticent about endowments should understand. They have to do their homework. I mean, going back to the earlier conversation, understand the organization that you're looking to work with, but understand that once you're comfortable with that organization and their stewardship and responsibility of your gift, that it can have a legacy. It can have impact for numerous years, even beyond your lifetime. So I would encourage individuals to really think about it, and whether it be with the Siebert Foundation or the Donor Advised Fund.
Yeah. When we come back from the break, the Giving Pledge is a charitable campaign founded by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett that encourages wealthy people to contribute a majority of their wealth to philanthropy. And that happened in June 2022. The pledge had over 236 signatures from 28 countries. I want to get Sarah and Derek's take on, could this work on a local and statewide level? This is The Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
When you and your spouse go to a movie, you go at the same time, right? When it comes to Social Security, it might make sense for you to claim benefits at different times. It's critical that you correctly time your benefits. If you get it right, you could add thousands of extra dollars to your retirement income. Do you know the timing that's best for your situation? Our team at Drake & Associates will analyze your Social Security options as part of your Retirement Ready Roadmap. You have one chance to claim your Social Security benefits, and that decision will impact you for the rest of your life. Claim your free Retirement Ready Toolkit that has guides on Social Security. Call or text SS to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting SS to 414-409-9982.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now at 800-230-5174.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. April 15th has come and gone. Now the love letters from the IRS and state start coming. Those certified green envelopes seem to strike fear in the person or business that gets them. You may also be lucky enough to get a personal visit from a revenue officer if you owe a lot of money. If you get a letter or visit, contact us immediately. We can help. We don't make judgments about why you got a letter or visit. We just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get cut in half with garnishments, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. Make the right choice and visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a solution to solve your situation now. If you wait, it will not go away. The first meeting is free. That's rightchoicetax.us.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Welcome back to the Upswing Monday Momentum with the Siebert Lutheran Foundation and more. Last week, the Greater Milwaukee Foundation named Greg Wesley as the organization's next president and chief executive officer. Wesley succeeds Ellen Gilligan, who has announced her retirement plans after more than a decade of leadership at the GMF. Derek Tias is a board member at the GMF. How do all the foundations work in concert together, and specifically work with the Greater Milwaukee Foundation?
You know, Jeff, that's a great question. I'm not sure that there is an intentionality of working together, but we all address a lot of similar issues, and we all tend to have a focus of bettering the community and making things greater for all of us. Yeah. So I would say that I have seen that there's been more collaboration amongst organizations of late, specifically with Siebert Lutheran. There hasn't been any significant outreach that I'm aware of, but that's not something that I don't think either organization would be interested in.
I mean, obviously, Milwaukee has a very vibrant nonprofit sector addressing a various wide variety of social and community needs. What are some of the biggest needs that you see right now, Sarah?
Well, I think when we talk to donors, one of the biggest needs that they are passionate about and they're seeing is we are in a mental health crisis, not just in Milwaukee, but nationwide. There's such a significant gap between what providers are compensated for and then the actual cost of providing that services. There aren't enough individuals going into that field to provide the needed counseling for not only young people, but adults. So we are seeing such a rising need there, as well as the mental health crisis is also affecting our partners that are in education as well. You know, if a kid is struggling with some mental health needs and issues, it's tough to have a good day at school and be thriving, and even for adults to be thriving, contributing members of society if they are struggling with some underlying issues. So that I think is one of the biggest. Derek?
And I would just add on to that, Jeff, our lay leaders, our pastors are also, because of all of the burdens and stresses of their congregants, they too are dealing with things. So we have seen a lot of recent asks for support, and we've been directing resources towards addressing this issue.
Opening up that space, no matter where your leadership path is, it's good for everyone, for sure. I had mentioned before the break the giving pledge on a global scale that has 28 countries and almost 250 individuals involved. Could you see something like that on a Milwaukee and Wisconsin level working, where business leaders say, hey, this is my pledge, this is my commitment to give everything I have back to the community?
I think that philanthropy is deeply personal, and I would love to see that happen on a local level. Not sure how we can make that work, but hopefully the examples of others and leaders who have so generously given of their treasures would spur something like that on a local level. Sarah, I don't know your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree, Derek. It is a personal choice, and being in this field of fundraising for over 20 years is really a gift to be able to hear people's personal, like your own reason of why you established an endowment, and people come to that decision based on more than what's in their, I'd say more what's in their heart than their head, and it is a personal choice. Looking at the statistics, though, individuals make up the biggest share of giving, 64% nationwide, $319 billion. We wouldn't have this thriving world-class city that we have in Milwaukee if we didn't have people who stepped up, 100 years ago to make an investment in this city. And so I would say, however people come to that decision, it is their own personal choice. But but looking at what the greater good could be from making that investment. The gift you make after your death is the biggest gift you'll ever be able to make. And so spend some time thoughtfully considering what you want that legacy to be and the work you're passionate about today and how you want that to continue into the future.
Very good. When we come back from the break, we will get some examples of that work that's being done by Siebert in the community, some of their grantee partners, and we will wrap it up with the future of giving in Greater Milwaukee. This is The Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
Sure, times are tough in L.A. for the Angels, but maybe all they have to do is believe. That won't work against these guys.
Breaking ball hammered out to left. Back goes Hampson at the track. Wall gone! Willie Adames flips this game on its head.
Brewers Radio Network Game Day coverage starts tonight at 8 on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money, too. That's ACCUNET.com.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Now these tend to fly off the shelves. But don't worry, because our connection supplies us with a lot of them. Vintage ceiling tiles from once great old buildings in New York City that make for ultra-unique artwork. These items are definitely hard to find from anywhere else around here. So come take a look, and you'll probably find a treasure. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Mex, excited to invite you to come along with me for sounds and stories from Summerfest. What's on Tap will be broadcasting live at the Big Gig. I'll be at Summerfest from 6 till 8, surrounded by the fun, and where we'll hear from musicians, entertainers, and you. Stop by the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studios on the Lake Walk. Say hi and tell me why you love Summerfest. Catch What's on Tap live at Summerfest on WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome back to The Upswing. Derek Tias and Sarah Gilday from Siebert Lutheran Foundation join us today. Sarah, what are some of the examples of grant recipients and the impact the foundation has had? Specifically, I know you made a big investment at the rebuilding of the Redeemer Lutheran Church on 19th in Wisconsin, correct?
That's true, and it's hard to just lift up a few because with over 100 grantees annually, it's like choosing your favorite child. But yes. I will just focus on 3 of our favorite children today. Redeemer is one of those, and they're hard at work on the Love Your Neighbor phase of their renovation. And so this portion of the project, it's entirely devoted to its community services to support mental health, recovery, and nutrition on the Near West Side. And we are pleased to have been an early investor in that project. They have a $500,000 match that ends on August 31st. So every dollar will be matched up to $500,000 until the end of August.
Okay, and there's a completely renovated event space there, new kitchens to share hot meals each week, so a complete rebuild at that historic church. It's pretty beautiful.
It's going to be such a gem for that neighborhood. I can't wait to see it come to fruition. Pastor Lisa's just amazing.
What are a couple of the other causes?
Well, a couple others that come to mind. A couple of weeks ago, I was doing a fellowship dinner at Serenity Inns where you bring dinner and join in fellowship and dinner with those that are residents at Serenity Inn recovering from addiction recovery. And wow, their building is sure taking shape across the street. They are expanding to be able to house even more men in their journey on the path to recovery.
Okay.
And then what also comes to mind is I had one of the greatest days of my whole year. On Thursday, I got to go visit Fox Lake Correctional, and I got to see 8 graduates graduate with a degree in biblical studies and psychology from Trinity University as part of the Wisconsin Inmate Education Association. And so these men will go on. Many have long sentences within the prison system, and they will go on to minister and to counsel others that have long sentences within the prison system. They are really replicating themselves in being able to meet that need of having someone within one of the toughest environments. They'll be that person in the darkness for someone to talk to. And we also fund that program.
All right. Derek, what's the future hold not only for the endowment funds and campaigns, but for the foundation and philanthropy efforts as a whole in the city of Milwaukee? That's a big question.
It's a very big question, Jeff, but, I'll simply say more. The need is great, and we have shown at Siebert and through our work at the Greater Milwaukee Foundation that the impact of philanthropy is significant in changing communities' lives and individuals, and the hope is that as individuals think about their next and what they'd like to do with their resources, that they really consider philanthropy and the impact that it can have on this wonderful community.
Very good. All right. I appreciate you both spending time with us this beautiful Monday. Have a wonderful week. Wisconsin's Midday News is next. Greg Matzek is out. So Amy Taylor co-hosts with Jessica Ty. Wisconsin's Midday News is next. We'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market and how it affects Wisconsin.